The number one most important legal document you will ever sign and that everyone must have is a power of attorney. A power of attorney is a powerful legal tool, but like any tool, you better read that instruction manual really carefully and understand exactly what the consequences are on both sides of this equation for a power of attorney. Let's start why power of attorney is so important, right? So I've seen this over and over again. Husband, wife, living together, doing whatever. Husband's traveling for work, wife's off somewhere for vacation, whatever else, and something's going on with the kid at school or insurance or power bill or banking. All of these kind of things come up, and the wife or the spouse's signature is required, and it's not there. And the frustration of having to deal with that produces a real nightmare. Now, fast forward to when you're getting elder or you're getting kind of sick or whatever. This is where POA is really important, right? So we know that someone's kind of slipping, and kids or caregiver needs to step in and kind of help the elder person with financial affairs, and that's really the primary purpose of POA, right? Is when we know that someone's slipping and they need some assistance with that. And in particular, we talk about a durable power of attorney. Durable power of attorney extends after the person loses their capacity, where one that's not durable does not. But the bottom line is this. That power of attorney then allows that trusted fiduciary to step in and make decisions for the principal. But that word's the most critical part of the entire discussion, fiduciary. Under 709-201, an agent under a power of attorney must act only in the principal's best interest, act in good faith, act with care, competence, and diligence, keep records of all transactions, and avoid conflicts and self-dealing. So the deal is that, when we give someone a power of attorney, they need to be clearly educated about what those powers are. Likewise, when the person is giving the power of attorney, we got to be real clear about what the capacity of that person is, and do they have the ability to fully understand what powers they are giving over. I will decline producing a power of attorney if I am not 100% convinced that the principal knows exactly what's going on and is in full command of facts and faculty. I will also decline to do a power of attorney if the person on the other side of that equation, I don't trust them, I don't like it, I'm just not going to do it. But the other circumstance is the burden on every single attorney, everyone that produces these documents, is to make sure that both sides of that equation fully understand exactly what's going on. This is another one of these massive problems with these document mills out there, right? You can go online, you can draft yourself a power of attorney, and that's all well and good. But that's not the most important part of this discussion or this exercise. The most important part of this discussion or exercise is sitting down with a lawyer and making sure that both sides of this equation know exactly what that power of attorney is. You don't get that from the online stuff. It's a bigger discussion that has to occur when a power of attorney is executed and issued, and it's worth a couple $100 that any good lawyer is going to charge to produce that document. I can't tell you how many times someone comes in just looking for a simple power of attorney, seems black and white, seems really simple. And responsible, ethical lawyering involves engaging in conversation with people. And I can't tell you how many times we've learned, we've uncovered additional issues when we're going through this exercise of power of attorney. So you get your money's worth when you do it correctly. Good counsel, good guidance. So here's the deal. Under 709-216, and this is a statute dealing with powers under power of attorney, if you abuse a power of attorney, you can be sued, forced to repay every single dollar taken, ordered to pay attorney's fees, removed, referred for criminal investigation. So that's why understanding what that POA is on both sides of the equation is, and do not execute one unless you know what's going on, and don't accept that power or responsibility unless you know what's going on. And then the other warning here about POA abuse. Oftentimes a person with a POA, particularly when we're dealing with an elder person, maybe capacity slipping a little bit like that, they start to get a little bit handsy with the POA and the money. And initially, maybe the principal's saying, hey, go ahead and write yourself a check for whatever, your rent. Go ahead and write yourself a check for clothes or gas or whatever else like that. It's all well and good. But what can tend to happen is that sort of starts expanding, right? And so as the principal's capacity is kind of diminishing a little bit, the power of attorney power gets a little big in the britches and starts grabbing a little bit more money than they should. And that provokes some real problems. And so, back to this whole concept of elder abuse and exploitation. If you're acting under the power of attorney and you're using mom's money, digging into the account, using the POA for that, you better be real careful. Because even if you take the position that mom authorized this, when the heirs pop in, maybe other brothers, sisters, spouses, whatever else like that, they come in and they start looking at what you did over the last couple of years, $1,000 here, $1,000 there, private school tuition, bought a car because mom didn't want to drive in the Chevy anymore. Mom wanted the Mercedes. No. Every single one of those transactions is coming back. They're going to grab it out of your hide, and you may wind up with a pair of silver handcuffs if the abuse is really bad. So that's the warning. Be careful with powers of attorney on both sides of the equation. If these issues are interesting to you, like and subscribe for more.